This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Infinity Isle for a 1v1 between this Yellow Empire player, I don't know who this is, and the Red Allies on the right side. This is DutchArmy. This was played on the Chinese BattleNet server, I do believe, and I don't know how to pronounce this player's name. So, for now, we'll just be calling them the Empire player. And if you see them, like, throw out a beacon or at the end of the game, you'll see what their in-game display name is. But, yeah, I'm not sure who this actually is. So we've got a classic Allies versus Empire on Infinity Isle. A map that we have, of course, seen many times. Standard barracks opener for DutchArmy, and it looks like he is going for the wall-in on the airfield. He's not going airfield first or anything like that. Very respectable airfield timing after double refinery, almost a late timing, and he does actually wall in a second javelin soldier as well. So he will be reasonably well defended against Tengu harass. It's, of course, you know, it's possible to defeat that, but at least you're going to be forcing the Empire player to drop in with the Javelin Soldier, and then, of course, you can try and sell off the walls and get a couple of extra shots, waste some more Tengu time. Other than that, Oiled Eric getting targeted down. Vindicator comes in for a bombing run. Bombs out a couple of Imperial Warriors, but he does split his bomb across 3 different Imperial Warriors, so does not choose to kill any of them, but it does mean when the Peacekeepers and the Imperial Warriors fight... Okay, so he does clean up 1. Maybe a bit of mismicro there, because I think he just wanted to soften up as many Imperial Warriors as he could, so that when the fight comes, he has the easiest time dealing with all of these units. Nice bomb splitting once again. Yeah, you can see he has softened up so many of these Imperial Warriors, and gets 2 of them for the price of 1 there. Multi-gunner turret gets deployed as well. Honestly, I don't even know if that was necessary to deploy that multi-gunner turret there. The Peacekeepers are in such good shape against those Imperial Warriors that doesn't really need the help. It is straight to tier 2. Okay, no Tengu harass for this guy. 3rd refinery, tier 2, all from the low ground. This is no wall swag build or anything like that. It's just the 3rd refinery, tier 2 Empire player. Not what we typically see. Barracks does get cleaned up, but not before it deploys 1 wall segment there. Really nice, consistent bomb splitting from DutchArmy in this case. He does keep that multi-gunner turret for now, but again, there hasn't been any Tengu harass, so probably not what DutchArmy thought he was going to be defending against in the opening couple of minutes of this game. Now that we are past the first couple of minutes, we do have some things to start worrying about for both players. Number 1, the Tengus are finally out. Not typically that you see a Tengu at like 345 and never before that from an Empire player. One of the latest Tengus in a 1v1 that we have seen. And if you're the Empire player, you're, of course, getting worried about when the Allied player goes for Tier 2. Tengu goes for the drop, and it looks like a couple of these strikers will be getting cleaned up. No crushes so far for that Tsunami tank. Finally gets 2, 3, 4 Peacekeepers. So that Tsunami tank is almost paid for itself. Needs to clean up 1 more Peacekeeper. Doesn't actually get it, and the Apollos are not here, so I guess this chopper will be able to escape. Chopper very low on health as well. The Tengu low also. That almost was a huge amount of loss for the Empire player, and it ended up not being that bad. The Tsunami tank went down, a couple of Chopper VXs went down, but the 3rd Chopper VX and that Tengu both survived, and that is some big savings for the Empire player, especially when it comes to the next phase of this game. Tengu's going to be potentially chasing away. What is this one Javelin Trooper doing? He's not supposed to be there in the middle of the map. But having those extra reinforcements is going to be super nice for the Empire player as they transition into this next stage of the game. I keep expecting that there's going to be tier 2 from our allied player. Dutch Army has not gone cryocopters. He hasn't gone tier 2 yet. He did get that second airfield. We're starting to see Apollos, but still tier 2 hasn't even started for Dutch Army. Cryocopters are typically such an important part of the recipe for an allied player, defense, offense, whatever. Cryocopters are a part of it, and we just aren't seeing that here for Dutch Army. Not a lot of harassment coming down from either side. This is not one of those games where you drop 3 Tengus on every, or 3 Tengus on, 1 on each refinery every minute for the first 9 minutes of the game, and you're just constantly trying to harass and trade out Tengus and get that damage done and sort of tear down the allied player piece by piece. This is an Empire player who has gone for basically one big harassment attack and has been pooling his units back on his side of the map ever since. War Factory is out. I mean, we might as well see a 4th refinery before tier 2 at the rate that we are going for Dutch Army. There's the tier 2 finally up and running. He's got that War Factory. He's got the potential of the Guardian tanks. All right, Tengus not really finding much of an engagement. They do trade a couple of shots with the Apollos. One Tengu going to be going for a bit of harass, just going to deny some mining time and a big Tengu surround, but it is also going to be a cryo shot coming in for the allied player. So the multi-gunner turret will go down, and the Tengus, it's just a question of how long do they want to stay, because they can survive a couple of bombing runs if they want to stick around, and honestly, there may not be a whole lot of a threat for them to worry about. Refinery goes down, command hub is going to be eliminated as well, and now Dutch Army needs this high ground refinery. No longer will he have 4 refinery economy. It is going to be going back down to 2 refinery, and he's hoping to establish his now 3rd on the high ground instead of his 4th on the high ground. Apollos might be able to clip a couple of Tengus here, but ooh, that was not a good angle of engage for Dutch Army. He does decide to back off. A couple of Peacekeepers given away for free here. They make it through the wall and then immediately get jumped on by the Tengus. And our Empire player is going to find some good value. There's what should have been a 4th refinery for Dutch Army, and it's just his 3rd. A couple of more walls will be sold off. The thing that the Empire player is worried about now is probably Athena cannons. When we make that transition to tier 3, when the allied player gets that next level of tech, because right now, decent number of chopper VXs, decent number of Tengus. You're not super worried about cryocopters, especially with these point defense drones being freshly applied. One tsunami tank does get down, trades it back for 1 Vindicator. Looks like maybe a Tengu went down as well. And walls now being established by the allied player instead of the Empire player. It is going to be a case of both players wanting to play the wall game. Couple of Guardians. The Apollos are here, but they were a little bit far away from the front line, so 1 Guardian is going to be going down. A 2nd Guardian getting jumped on, and these strikers find a couple of kills. The Tengus trying to box out these Apollos. There's not a lot of help from the ground. No IFVs, no jabs, just a multi-gunner turret that gets stomped on by those chopper VXs. Tsunami tanks not even participating in this battle. It's just the chopper VXs chasing those Guardians super deep into enemy territory. Tsunami's now going to be following up into the middle of the map. 4 tsunami tanks covering the retreat of those air units. What are these tsunamis even doing? They're just going down onto the low ground and hunting Guardians? I'm not sure. They're just going to escape off to the north side, perhaps. A couple of Tengus move into position. They snipe the Vindicators. They kill the Apollo, and now it's going to be the Tsunamis versus the IFVs versus the Guardians on the ground. A couple of Chopper VXs need to wait out their timer perhaps a little bit longer before they can transform and get out of there. Cryo Shot is going to come in, traps 1 Tengu there. Finally, Dutch Army gets something with those cryo shots that he's been using. Chopper VXs fall out of the sky. Guardians split on the ground, but the Empire forces have overstayed their welcome. He could have got out of there a minute or 2 ago. He could have got out of there a minute ago and never sent those tsunami tanks down, and he would have escaped with so much more. Our Empire player has massively overstayed the that attack that he had, that attack window that he found himself with. He way overstayed it and paid a bit of a price for it. Tsunami tanks poking at this MCV may have been the better move, where they had a clear path out of the base, an easy ability to retreat. Vindicators moving out once again. Still an IFV poking and prodding at the front door. Harvester going to be getting shut down. Second Harvester being harassed. One Harvester down. All right. Tengus are maybe going to be able to escape. All right. Second Tengu did go down. And yeah, I guess the 6 Tengus are just going to be able to walk away. They get out to the water away from the Guardians, and not much more. Not much one Apollo can do against all of these Tengus. A lot of Tengus to tango with if you're only one Apollo. Yeah, don't try that. There are some IFVs out on the field now. We saw them enter after that, after the Tengus kind of dominated the last fight. A couple of IFVs out onto the map. MCV back out to the water expansion for Dutch Army. Wants to get himself a 4th refinery. Gets out a Riptide as well. Finds no water expansion for the Empire player. MCV still on the high ground. 4th refinery will eventually be established, but this Riptide is pretty much just waiting for it. This is actually going to be a perfect catch by Dutch Army. He's going to get the block on that refinery, and he might actually get the kill as well. Last torpedo. Oh, no, he did get the 3rd set of torpedoes, so he gets the kill. That Riptide has absolutely paid for itself. That Riptide, a hero. And you saw the movement of the Tengus before the refinery. They kind of swung by, but they did a very lazy check for their opponent's units. They did not scout down far enough. They did not see that Riptide. MCV going to be taking a bit more damage, but this is 3 Tsunami tanks. They don't have any kind of support nearby. There are Tengus now crossing the map. Refinery? Or is he going Naval Yard first? Either way, I think he wants to clear out these units before he puts anything down. Apollos might be able to find a couple of these Tengus. Forces to transform. Here's the point defense drones, I assume. Here's the point defense drones. Cryoblast on top of the Harvester and the Refinery. Nope, not the Harvester, just the Refinery. Gets the kill there, so that is 2 refineries denied there. Multi-gunner turret does get deployed. Laser Painter lands on one of those tanks. Apollos find a couple of Tengus with point defense drones. Not a good fight for those Apollos. And it's going to be an ore refinery as well. Now up for Dutch Army. So he denies a refinery, on the water. He kills the refinery on the high ground, and then he places his own 4th refinery out on the water. Dutch Army's economy going to be, in some ways, catching up to his Empire opponent, considering all of the harassment that he has taken over the course of this game. Emperor's Rage going to be landing on all of these units, and they will tear down this refinery. So back down to 3 refineries for Dutch Army. He's lost a number of Harvesters here, but eventually he will stabilize. Both players back to 3 refinery economy. Dutch Army hoping to deal with these Tengus one day, but today is not that day. Nanotech mainframe on the way. MCV not getting tier 3, quite a ways away from the armor facility as well. Could go Naval Yard. Honestly, from this position, could also try and, if you want to go tier 3, could try for the low ground refinery location instead. And just ignore the far out water, the backdoor water expansion. Chopper VX is still stomping around. All right, tier 3 is on the menu for our Empire player. Wave Force Artillery, they won't be too long from now. And there we go, tier 3 is up. Point defense drones have just expired. Naval Yard also going to be coming out. Sells off the nanotech mainframe. Maybe just Yari mini subs. Oh, Dutch Army. He gets cursed. He gets cursed by the refinery bug. He's trying to go for refineries. He's trying to dominate the economy graph, but getting cursed by the harvester bug. His other harvesters working quite well, working away quite well. Double harvester over here, which I'm not sure how he ended up with 2 harvesters. Maybe a misclick, or I guess no, it was just the harvester that survived from the freezy ray, from the cryoblast that fired off. Okay, if there is another Riptide down here, it's actually a command hub. Somehow he ended up with a command hub. Oh no, Dutch Army. This is gonna be killer when he realizes this. How long his harvester was just waiting there, waiting to be told to go to work, and he's just not doing it. Tengu's flying around. First Wave Force artillery is out on the field, and it will reveal itself by blasting away at that civilian structure. Command hub is here. Tengu's will get eyes on it, and as long as they are there to help deal with this Yari mini-sub is actually going to help Dutch Army, because he's going to realize that his harvester was offline this whole time. Well, no, it hasn't attacked yet. Busy dealing with that command hub in the south. Vindicator is there. Big cryo blast. Cryogeddon fires off in the middle of the map. Cryocopter is here as well. Wave Force artillery gets locked down, but so does one tank. King Oni gets shrunk down, gets the kill on one of the Guardians, but gets surrounded and will get destroyed by the rest of the allied forces. Chopper VX not dealt with as easily as it would have been earlier in this game, and right as the point defense drones expire, these Tengus have to get out of dodge. The army just falling apart here for our Empire player. Dutch Army never needing that extra harvester for this fight at least. MCV taking massive damage from all of these javelins, and now the choke is actually kind of working out against the Empire player. He's got to work through those Guardian tanks before he can get to the juicy jabs, and that is actually going to be a lot of... No, the jabs don't all go down. The King Oni didn't actually bust all the way through. It's Apollos versus Tengus in the sky, and the space cable witnesses the death of the MCV. He will honor that MCV, but the jabs clean up everything else. It's the jabs that get the win for Dutch Army, and it all came down to that one fight at the end. The walls working against our Empire player, and Dutch Army getting the win with one big fight at the end, killing the MCV, punching through that wall, and of course that Cryogeddon starting things off on the right foot for Dutch Army. That'll do it for this game. A back and forth for most of it, but it ends in disaster for our Yellow Empire player. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.